All right, welcome back. The program is Saturday Night, and if you're just joining us, we do have Tara Fela-Durotoye in the house, the one and only Tara Durotoye. It's a pleasure having you on Saturday Night.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Did you hear how I stressed it?
I see.
A pleasure.
And it's nice to be here.
To have the personality behind makeup industry here in Nigeria. Wow, that's a big feat, you know.
That's a big title you've just given me.
Huh?
But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the role.
What were you even thinking when you said you wanted to go into makeup? As at the time when you did, when there was nothing like makeup anywhere. I mean, yes, we did have makeup then, but there was no professionalism to it. But you went in there blind.
Maybe
you
blind.
leaped into the dark. And right now you're shining, you're on the spotlight and everything. What were you thinking?
Well, it was coincidental. It wasn't something that was planned. I wanted to be a lawyer, and I had even entered university to study law. But the consumers responded to me a certain way. They said they needed it. It was obvious that it was something that people were now willing to pay for. And so I was excited to be here at that time, for such a time as that. And I filled the gap. It was a coincidence that I fell into that place at that time, and the market needed it, and so here I am.
You wanted to read law, and then you found yourself, not just in the entertainment industry, but makeup. Makeup. How did your parents respond to that?
They didn't have a problem, because obviously I was still doing it while I was on campus. So for them, it was like, something I was just doing by the side, and eventually they would see how it goes. So there wasn't any, negative feedback from them. But by the time I had graduated, I had already built a good clientele. So it only made sense that I should continue. So my parents were unconventional. My mom studied finance. My dad was a historian. So I guess for them also, they saw the world differently. And so there wasn't any stumbling block from my house point of view. But from the outside, customers' parents telling me, you need to get a job. Because for them, they thought that this wasn't a real business or a real job. It's unfortunate that was how people felt, and still that problem is still exists till this very time. But it's not as bad as it was at the time, because people have to realize that the industries that make an economy cannot be only banking and medical, doctor, or lawyers. They have to realize that there's some creatives, what you call the creative industry, and that there are consumers who are looking for the service of these people, and therefore begin to create industries out of such talents.
House of Tara is a very big name. And this is the package behind the package. But not everybody knows Tara. Our Tara, our dearly beloved Tara. So let's start from the very start, like we always do on the program. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
So I studied, I went to primary school in Command, Victoria Island. I went to the Nigerian Navy Secondary School, Ojo. I studied law in the Lagos State University. I started my business 16 years ago as a bridal makeup artist. I'm a mother of 3 sons. My husband is a famous motivational speaker and business consultant, Fela-Durotoye. Business is 16 years, but we have 12 branches across the country. We have 5 branches in Lagos alone, and we're in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Kano, Abuja, Ibadan, Benin. House of Tara has over 80 employees, and we not only develop people who will work for the industry by our makeup school, but we also have the fastest growing indigenous makeup brand called the Tara Orekelewa.
That's quite a profile you've got going there.
Thank you.
I'm sure you don't need any visa to anywhere. You just say House of Tara and then you
Correct. I just say my name, and then I just get the visa.
Say my name, That's interesting. Can you recount the first time you met somebody up?
No, I can't recount the first time I met somebody up.
And you met somebody beautiful.
My mother was very stylish, very fashionable, so I learned some of those things from her. But I think that by the time I took that skill to university and I started to do my own makeup, people saw it and liked it, and they'll say, do my makeup for me, do my makeup for me. One day someone just, why don't you start as a business? And that's
you abandoned the law.
That it wasn't abandoned. I continued my education and I finished, but I I started to do the
No,
business
mentally now.
by the
You
side.
just like, okay, let me allow the law take its course.
Let me allow the law to enter my head while I do the exams. But also do the business by the side. So I started the business by the side, and that's how we opened our first store in Adiola Hope on Victoria Island, very close to the law school for that matter. And here we are today, 12 branches across the country.
That's interesting. It's a fantastic story. Yes, makeup is something that you give to people. You make people beautiful. When you set out to make people beautiful, are there things you put into consideration? Are there features, are there things you put into consideration when you want to make somebody beautiful?
Definitely, you consider, you know, what does the person want? Well, how does the person want to look?
You discuss.
You have those discussions, and the customer tells you. Sometimes also the customer says, you know what, I don't know what I want. I just want you to do what you want because you're the professional. And so you assess the person's face shape. You see the areas that you want to accentuate and the areas that you want to de-accentuate. You also look at the skin tone of the person and then know the product that will suit the person. And these are some of the things that you put into consideration before you apply the makeup. But also, you know, where's the person going? You know, what is this, a night event? Is it a day event? Is it a wedding, a morning wedding? Is it an evening wedding? Is she going to be the celebrant and the star of the day? Is she going to be a television personality or on a show, a musician? These are the things you consider. Is this going to be for a video? You consider those things before you start your work.
And then are there not times when clients say, okay, I don't like what you've done to my face?
You get a few of those. Sometimes the customers don't even know what they want. And because they don't know what they want, they're also not able to communicate what it is that they want. Sometimes people see someone else and they say they want to look like that person. But unfortunately, we're not created to look like anyone. Our features are unique and distinct, even if we're twins.
Especially since we are wonderfully and fearfully made. So for those ones that are fearfully made, how do you cope?
Fearfully?
Yes.
When you say fearfully, what do you mean? Because I'm going to take that very personally. And I think I understand what you mean by that. But I'm one of those people that wouldn't consider anyone fierce. And I think when the Bible was talking about fearfully, it didn't mean that person that was not fine. I think we have to learn how to be able to look at people and know that everyone is beautiful. They have what it takes. And it's the responsibility of the artist to bring that beauty out of that person.
So what's your magic?
I don't know if there's any magic. I think it's the consistency in doing the skill, applying your skill. You get better as you go along. Makeup is great, but it's an end to something. And what we've done as House of Tara is to empower people using that platform. So it's a skill that we have, but we've gone beyond beauty, and we've taken beauty, we've used it as a way to empower people, to help them to become financially independent. We've built an industry out of it. We've trained and developed people. And I think that should be the focus of our what is that we're sharing with the world, to say how have we been able to do it, and why is it important to look at the social issues that there are in the world and create a business that can solve those problems and make money from it.
That's a motivational speaker talking. That's a motivational speaker talking.
I can hear my husband's voice
in fact, I can hear your husband sounding out from your voice right now. We are under the influence of Fela-Durotoye.
You can say that again. I'm in his house, am I not?
Now, Tara, yes, you have outlined this your features so far, but again, I want to ask, you have come this far, this long. What would you say are your landmark achievements so far?
I mean, most recently, I think in this 2013, I as a person was nominated as a young global leader by the World Economic Forum. Now, the World Economic Forum assesses young people between the ages, before they're 40, and picks out some of the people who they consider to be young, but who they predict are going to influence the world in the future. And they pick these people together from across the world, from 144 countries. And from those countries, bring them together and help them to be able to find ways to discuss and plan for the entire, for the world as a whole, whether it's depending on their continent and depending on how they can work together. I think that's one of our greatest achievements. And the reason why that nomination was made was because of the vision of House of Tara. and the vision is to be a globally respected beauty company of African origin. And that vision was what propelled the World Economic Forum to give me that award. But also, House of Tara as a company has gotten several awards in terms of being a company that has been significant in the development of the industry.
Do you know you're sounding very scientific now? Did you really sound like this when you first started?
Of course not. Sounding scientific did not happen overnight. It came with experience. It came with making mistakes and going through errors and learning from the errors and knowing that, you know what, we now need to have a standard operating procedure for every department. We have to have a staff handbook. We have to have a vision where House of Tara is going, and that vision has to be communicated to the employees in such a way that they understand and they're willing to run with it. So it didn't happen overnight. It was a process of time that I became this scientific. And I'm not yet as scientific as I will be.
I hope by the time you get that scientific, we'll understand you.
I hope so. I'll come down. I'll come down to the level.
To the layman's level, because there's so many people who are watching and they're like, okay, what's she talking about?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I think that we have to understand. I think that that's the point I'm trying to make, that it is an industry that is being overlooked. And there's so much that can be done in it. It's also being able to find a way to share the vision, to create your vision, and share the vision with people who have like minds, who can help you, because no man is an island and no one can build anything without people. So people make institutions, people make companies. And if you don't find the people, number one, you don't keep the people, then the chances of growing, it's very slim. But as you do the business also, think about how you can solve social issues using your business acumen, using the platform of your business. It's not CSR, but it's building a business model that helps other people. And that is what will give you longevity, will give you a legacy. It will give your business and your company an emotional buy that no one else can provide. And so these are some of the landmark things that have helped in terms of the process of where we are today. And
did you do this all by yourself, or you had the assistance of your husband? Because like I said, sometimes I hear him talk through you.
Well, I would say that my husband is my number one mentor. So you know that there's a lot of influence that comes from being married to someone. So you can have that. That's one. Two, but I'm also very well educated. And education is not in terms of going to university, but in terms of reading to prepare myself for the next phase of the business at every point in time. It's also exposing myself to training programs. I've been on the business leadership program by H.I.P Africa. I've been to Lagos Business School, the OMP program, the Owner Managers program, for 6 months. I've been an active member of Women in Business and Management, which organizes programs for women within the association to develop them to be enterprising. So all these things together I've added. Plus, I'm a very, very avid member of my church. And I believe to a large extent, the word that you learn within your religious setting teaches you principles, not just in everyday living, but also in your business life. And so those things you can then apply to grow your business. So I think that those things together is what you're seeing, is the result of what you're seeing today. Okay, you have you started off as just making people up with other people's products. Now you have your own products. Are these products, are they indigenized? Are they things you make from local materials, or you have to import them? Our products are still produced outside the country. Yet again, because in Nigeria we just don't have the infrastructure. Our products are produced in the US and in China, and in countries where we can find contract manufacturers who have the same values as we have and are willing to produce for us. It also promotes our culture and our language. Many of the brands that we know internationally promotes the English language, whether it's in the names of the product that they call or it's in how they're delivered. But for us, we're promoting African beauty icons, we're promoting African beauty concepts through our products. So you see our names, you see a Yarinya, you will see a Dumadon, you will see a Kweke. These are all words that are indigenous to us and we need to export to the world. Whether it's in terms of our female icons like Fumi Ransom Kuti, for example, or Queen Amina of Zaria, who built the walls of Zaria, or Madame Tinubu of Lagos. These are women that we now promote also using our products because they are our own icons. And the world has told us about Marilyn Monroe. They've also told us about Grace Kelly. But we need to tell the world about Fumi Ransom Kuti.
Okay, apart from the nomenclatures, do you have like some natural ingredients that you introduce
No.
into your products? They're all artificial.
No, they are. For example, you say for me, aloe vera, for example, is a natural product. So if that's what you mean in terms of the ingredients, yes, we use some of our products use aloe vera. Many of our products are mineral based, so they're mostly natural products. We have a range of products that are just mineral based. Mineral based means that they have no chemicals in them, and they're all natural. In terms of their ingredients.
Okay, as a makeup icon, what's your, if you want to judge the average Nigerian woman or man by their makeup artistry, how would you assess it?
Because of the number of makeup artists that we have in Nigeria now, the awareness that has been created, I think that I would give Nigerian women 60 to 65% of being able to do their makeup much better than in the past. There's still a lot to be done, but I think that that's where the makeup artists are, so that they can get some more business. House of Tara is a platform for an expression, and that expression is to empower, to build lives, but just using beauty as the platform for building lives. I was talking earlier on about the 100 Voices project, and it's really about taking the stories of micro-entrepreneurship, stories of inspiration, and using those stories to inspire other young people to apply themselves.
You're very confident. You know what you want, and you're going all out for it. That's a beautiful one. Now, Tara, you're here. Please, people are watching. Please, people are watching, and they have #1 makeup artist in the house. Some have oblong face, some have fat faces, some are slim, some are, light skin, some are dark skin. Just give them this thing. Just do them this honor. Just do them this.
Come to our makeup studio. We have,
yes,
and we have
imported a makeup studio with.
No, the
Tara
makeup studio
here.
is not here. The makeup studio is
Tara
not here.
is here. She can say it.
No, you can't say it. It's something you have to practice. So you have to have.
Just major general tips on how to just stay away from those disastrous makeup mistakes people make.
For example, using wine eyeshadow to highlight your eyebrows. That's something that Nigerian women have to stop. Using black pencil for your eyebrows when you should use a dark brown eyebrow pencil, especially when your skin is fair. Staying away from hydroquinone to bleach your skin so that you can look lighter. What you do is that you have to use more makeup because you need to cover up more. I think that those are some of the tips that Nigerian women have to address.
Are you saying makeup, for every makeup you do, every makeup artistry that you do, there's just one basic formula? Because for different faces, you have different ways of accentuating the beauty of that particular feature.
Yes, but it's difficult to explain because I have to see the person to know what those things are and then address them. So for example, if it's somebody who has a white cheekbone, right, and they want to take away from that, they don't want to emphasize that, the person can have white cheekbones but they can be fair, or they can have white cheekbones and they can be dark, but the makeup that you use for them is not the same, but their complexion plus their features are different. So it's my skill as a makeup artist to be discerning, and it's only when I see them that I can say. So it's a very broad conversation.
Okay, Tara, you are, yes, an entrepreneur. You also have the Tara behind the family. How do you manage? How do you juggle both phases? You have the business phase, you have the family life. How do you juggle?
I think that many of them, it's intertwined in a lot of ways. My husband is a very strong part of the business. So because it's a strong part of the business, we can't really separate it. My children come to my office almost every day on a daily basis after school. So they're somehow integrated in the business.
And you have 3 boys.
And I have 3 boys.
And they're also interested in the makeup thing.
They're not interested. They're small. So the question is whether to send them home after school, to go home and wait for me for hours, or they come to the office and do their homework there, or get their lesson teacher to come there. So as a way of managing all those rules at the same time. So that's one way. And the other way also is to realize that my family is also is more important than anything else. So in situations where I have to choose between family and business, I choose my family, I choose my husband, I choose my children second. And that's one of the things that I've put in place in my own head as to how to keep the balance between myself and my family.
And how's it been like, family life?
I've been very blessed.
Married life
I've
too?
been very blessed. I've been very blessed to marry an amazing man. I think I've been very lucky as well to have someone who's very committed to my purpose. I've been very, very lucky as well to have someone who's also passionate, very, very passionate about his assignment, and because there's nothing as satisfying as having a man who knows what he wants to do, and so it's easy for you to help him. If he doesn't know what he wants to do, then you can't help, and that's what a woman is, a helpmate. If my husband doesn't know what he wants to do, then it's difficult for me to apply myself and apply my giftings to help him. So I think in that regard, I've been very, very blessed. Apart from the fact that he's extremely supportive, it's quite traditional, although when people see him, he looks like he's funky, but he's very traditional. He's a traditional man in a lot of ways. And I've come to 12 years of marriage, come to learn and understand some of the things that he needs and his desires are, and find a way as his wife to help him to achieve his overall purpose.
You know, just looking at you, you are a makeup artist, a very well-known makeup artist, and you know, just looking at your face, your makeup is so simple and so uneventful. How come?
I think makeup is enhancement. Really, it's all about how do you ensure that you enhance how you look, and enhance your look and enhance yourself. So I'm not one to mask myself. I'm not one to create another look that I'm not. I love Tara. I love the way I look. So the makeup is really about accentuating Tara and not to create another person. And that's my philosophy of makeup. It's really enhancement. So every time you do your makeup and you look like somebody else, I'm worried. I'm worried that you don't like yourself.
If you want to say, let's say you want to go back in retrospect, which client or which makeup would you say would always remain memorable in your mind? All
my brides are all memorable. All the brides that I've done.
All is known.
I think that it's one of, we always say House of Tara loves our brides. There is nothing as good as sharing in that moment when somebody is about to take a decision in the new phase of their lives, especially in marriage, and make that covenant with someone else. There's nothing as enchanting as that.
If it wasn't makeup, what else would you have done apart from the law?
Missionary work.
Missionary. Pastor?
Missionary work, going to places and sharing the gospel.
Interesting. It's been nice having you on
Thank
Saturday
you very
night.
much.
Yes,
Thank you.
we've had,
Thank you.
even though you were very, very economical about those tips. On the final note, what's your general advice to Nigerian pro-fashionistas?
What would I say to my industry players? I would say to them that Nigeria is vibrant and there's so much more that we can do. We need to apply ourselves, think out of the box, and get ready for an avalanche. Thank you.
And it's a wrap. I will definitely call for you again so that you can tell us on how to strategize, you know, because you've gone from the Tara that, you know, draws your eyebrow and paint you up to a business inclined Tara. We would like to learn from your experience and know more about how to,
I'm willing to teach.
spread the good news.
Yes.
So it's a pleasure having you on
Thank you
Saturday
so
night.
much. Thank you.
Yeah. So keep doing us proud.
Thank you.
And on that note, we say viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned to this week's edition of Saturday Night. Until next week, be kind to one another.